Hello friends! Today I thought I would give you an update. I asked for your questions on the community tab here on my channel and also on Instagram, and you guys gave me lots of questions. So I'm going to answer them today, starting with what happened. So I know I've kind of answered those questions in a bunch of different places, but I wanted to answer them all in one place so that when people send me emails and everything, that you have all the answers in one place. So what happened? So the day after we finished running the gratitude immersion, Tim and I decided to go out and celebrate, have a nice time. And we went out on an electric scooter ride on the trails, on a trail called the Galloping Goose here in Victoria. And we went way out. We went out in East Souk, and there's a gravel trail, and we were out past Matheson Lake. And we were having such a great day, so much fun, riding on the trails, taking pictures. And then we were coming back. We had stopped and we were looking out, and it was a beautiful day. And I came around a corner and I was surprised. I saw a hill and it was steep, and I lost control of my scooter. Yeah, basically that's what happened. And I went down, I face planted. Obviously I put my hand out, and I thought I was gonna be fine. We both thought I was gonna be fine. We both thought I was gonna be able to shake it off and ride back. And we took me off to the side, and we kind of wiped off my face a little bit and see if I could ride back. But then we saw that there were bones pushing up. Not through the skin, but that we were going to need to do something else. So we found some very kind people who had a truck, and we put our electric scooters in there. And at that point, we were way out from Victoria. So it took us about 2 hours. It was about 3 in the afternoon. It took us about until 5 to get to Vic General. And it was clear my wrist was broken. We got to Vic General at about 5 p.m. and by 10 p.m. I'd had my wrist in a cast. And they were hoping that once they got my wrist in a cast, they'd x-rayed it and everything, that it would be okay. But they did the second x-ray, and then they realized that I was going to need surgery. So a few days later, I got the call for surgery. I went in for day surgery, and I got surgery on my wrist. They cut me open here and down to about here, and did surgery on my wrist. I've got plates and screws in my wrist now, so that it would be reset properly. It was a really bad break, obviously. And so then I got another cast on. And I wore that for, like 3 weeks, Tim? About 3 weeks. And then I went back to the hospital to get it checked and x-rayed again. And now I'm in a splint, and I go back in another week to get it checked again. And I guess we'll see from there. But you know, it's gonna be a long road to recovery. So that's what's happened, and that's where we are now. The second question that you have is a good question, is were you prepared for an emergency situation on the trail and the electric scooter? And honestly, no, we were not. When we were riding out, we were on these scooters that have air-filled tires. When we ride around in the city, I ride on a scooter that are solid tires. And my question on the way out was, do you have something to pump up the tires or fix the tires if we get a flat? Because I thought, like, this is gonna be a long way to go back if I get a flat tire. That was my only emergency situation on mine. But yeah, no, we were not prepared, but luckily there were other people to help us, so not well enough prepared at all. Okay, the next question is about the surgery, and I thought this was such a great question. It's from Tanya. We follow each other on Instagram. She says, what was your first thought coming out of surgery upon waking? And it was so interesting because as soon as I came out of the anesthesia, it wasn't even a thought, it was an emotion. I just started crying. That was an intense experience. And I couldn't believe the pain I was in. So not really a thought, but yeah, crying. And then actually I was relieved that I was crying, because I thought, oh my God, I'm so glad that I'm not holding these emotions in and that they're flowing through. So that was my first thought after surgery. The next questions are about my recovery. So the first question is, how has your nervous system been in recovery? And this is a really good question because this is something that really stands out, especially once I got the splint on and the cast off, and it's been more towards rehabilitation. My nervous system has been really activated. It's been something that I've been building a lot of resilience around. So now I have to get the wrist moving and start to get my range of motion back and my fingers and my hand. And this is really activating the nervous system because there's a lot of pain. That's the other question. How's the nerves near the injury? So there's a lot of nerves around your hand. And so it's intense. There's a lot of pain around it. So yeah, for both these questions, the nervous system's been really activated. It's been really hard to be in my body. And yeah, I'm just working every day to try to move this hand, to try and stay in my window of tolerance, so to speak, to try to breathe through it. And it's been a lot, I'm not gonna lie. So it's an interesting thing because when we practice yoga and we're well, we're just being in this, real comfort zone. But this is really pushing those limits a lot and building up that resilience and that nervous system tone in a big way right now. Brenda wants to know how I'm feeling, so thank you for asking. I love all these feeling questions. The feelings run the gamut from being grateful for having this time to rest and being grateful for having all of you who are subscribed on YouTube and all of you who are members of the community and having this, safety net built up so that I can have this time to rest. And then feeling exhausted because recovery is exhausting. It takes all my energy to do rehab and just general, grooming and getting myself fed and getting through the day. And then boredom, right? Because there's so little I can do, and then you can only watch so many YouTube videos and Netflix, so it kind of runs the gamut. And then frustration, a lot of frustration around bumping up against not being able to do the things that I normally do. Like, your hands are your doing center, and I love being active, I love doing work, I love working out, and yeah, being disconnected from that is really challenging. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling the full range of emotions now. And also the other feeling thing that was really helpful to connect with was grieving the loss of all the things, right? So when I came off of teaching, I feel like I came off a real high from teaching. We just had finished running the gratitude immersion, and I felt like my teaching was in a really good place. And then grieving the loss of being able to write. I love writing, and grieving the loss of being able to move. I love exercising and moving and practicing yoga. So really spending that time grieving those losses. So when you ask how I feel, I'm just feeling all the feels for sure. The next question is similar to the last one, but different. It's about how I felt after the accident in my emotions, but here's where it's different. It's asking, what am I going to do to heal them? Or perhaps I already have a healing practice around my emotions. And I love this question because I do, and I love it. So in the mornings when I wake up, I usually play some like ecstatic dance music. You can search for it on YouTube. And then I do kind of, I don't really want to do it because it's very vulnerable, but what I do is I start moving around and kind of like Qigong shaking. And I had to be very gentle with this at the beginning because it like hurts in the wrist, still does. And kind of shaking and moving around, kind of dancing and making noise, lots of inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and making noise, and just moving any stuck emotions out. So I do that usually for the length of a song, and it really helps me to move any stuck, stagnant energy and emotions through. So that's what I do for emotional processing every day. Okay, the next question. My friend Mary from Om Yoga wanted to know, how has this related to my yoga journey? And it has radically shifted it, because I had to completely change the way I related to yoga. So when I fell, I didn't just break my wrist. I banged up my whole face, which didn't really matter too much. But yeah, I hurt my finger on my other hand, but I had banged up my knees and my elbows, like basically every joint in my body. So it was really hard for me to get up and down from my mat. Also, my nervous system was just like going. It still is going because of the rehab on the hand. So to come to the mat and lie down, it's not like a place where it's like, so that was really hard. So what I found was, especially when I was spending a lot of time resting in bed at the beginning with the cast, was I was doing a lot of sound healing. So I learned later that that's called nada yoga, and that was how I was relating to my yoga practice at the beginning, especially. I still am, because it became the way that I was connecting with myself. And I'm just gradually getting back into the movement, especially now that the bruising on the knees has improved, and I'm trying to ease my way, find my way back to my nervous system. But yeah, that was a big adjustment. The next question is from Becky, and she wants to know, what has been your healing mantra? And the first one is, don't compare yourself to others. This I have to remind myself of every day. And in fact, I had to go through and do a big sweep out and clean out on Instagram. I had to unfollow a bunch of people, just because for my mental health right now, it was too harmful. There was one woman in particular who broke her wrist like basically at the same time as me, and she was documenting her whole return back. No way she had surgery, but she was just, she was doing all these movements and flying her arm around, and it was just like, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even, I wasn't even getting out of bed. I was sleeping all the time. I just felt, worthless compared to her. So eventually I unfollowed her, because it was just too harmful to my psyche to see her every day. And I just had to keep, I mean, Tim's laughing behind the camera, but you've got to unfollow people. If your soul is like dying inside when you see people on Instagram, unfollow or mute them, because it's too hard. Life is too short. Just, your self-worth and your emotional and mental well-being is worth that. You've got to do it. So don't compare yourself to others. And then another mantra has been to celebrate the baby wins, the small wins and the baby steps along the way. So, I can bring my thumb to my first finger and my second finger, and earlier today I had it to the third finger. That was a big win, right? That's a small baby step win, and I got to celebrate that. And really, I should be like writing them down every day, what my small wins are, if it wasn't so hard to write things down. And the other thing is, and this is, my friend Shannon reminded me of this, because when I first had my cast off, my surgeon was like, oh God, that's really not where it should be, and this is a big problem and everything. But my friend Shannon said, and I could cry thinking about this, but she's like, trust your own body, trust the wisdom of your own body. So I keep reminding myself that my body is healing exactly the way it needs to, and in its own time, and I trust that it's going to get better. And when we put more authority on those external authorities versus what our own body is doing, our bodies are amazing. They know exactly how to heal themselves. I think about, I've broken my toes on my right foot, and they've taken time, but they've healed them. They have healed. They've taken a lot longer than I think they should have. So I can trust in the wisdom of my own body to be able to heal, and my body's always healing itself. So trust my own body is my third mantra. This question is, am I enjoying my recovery? And yes, I am enjoying my recovery. I feel so grateful and privileged, as I said, to have all of you who are watching my videos on YouTube, who are part of my community, who have made it possible so that I am able to have this time in recovery, to take this time to heal myself. The privilege of this is not lost on me. And to have friends who are coming to my home to help me make meals, to help me clean up, to have Tim who has the time to help look after me, all of this, you know, I'm incredibly grateful for. To have this time to rest and reset. I've enjoyed the time doing Nada yoga, getting to know my own voice, having time to read. It's all been very beautiful. And I am, you know, at the same time, I am human. I do feel frustrated. I do feel bored. So it's both and, right? I recognize the privilege of it. I recognize the beauty of the rest and the downtime and the pause. And I love what I do, and I look forward to coming back. Okay, then I got a lot of comments that said, I'm just so happy to see you doing so well. God bless you on your speedy recovery. Hope you are getting all the rest and healing. So my plan is I'm back in the membership community. I'm teaching a live yin class this Sunday, the 25th, I believe it is, at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. We're going to do a 1-hour yin. And then through October in the membership community, I'm going to teach on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 30-minute classes. I think they're going to be Qigong, flows, maybe some hathas. We'll see how it goes as I recover. It's a little easier for me to release classes in the membership community right now because I don't have to do thumbnails, show notes, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to be doing a retreat in the membership community on the 5th and the 6th that I'm really excited about releasing and letting go into to prepare us for resting and building our energy reserves in the winter. And we're going to let go of what we no longer need so that we can build those energy reserves. I'm not going to be doing any promo for that because to write like a 20 email promo, it's just not possible for me right now. So if that is something that you're interested in, then you're going to have to direct message me on Instagram or send me an email at admin@melissawest.com because there's going to be no promo. It's not possible for me right now. But it is something that I feel really strongly about. I think it's, you know, we're going with the seasons. There are things that we need to let go in our schedules, beliefs that will allow us to take that time in winter to be able to really restore our energy reserves. And most of all, I just really wanted to thank all of you for your support during this time, for your healing energy, for your prayers. I really feel them. It's been amazing, and there's been so many. It's just, I hope you understand that it's not possible for me to like respond to all of them. The typing, even the voice to text typing is just like too much right now. But I really appreciate them. I feel them, and they're making all the difference.